over what Sheriff Kell said was a strong devotion to their duty and standing tall in the face of enormous opposition. And there's a long crow buffet over there for those that try to dish up recall and other efforts to politically crush the movement to try to find out what's going on with our police department. Now, under whether or not the police chief is guilty or innocent is immaterial to the question at hand that you have before you. What is needed for this police department is immediate, effective, and accountable leadership. And the present chief, even with the bond stipulations that he has, can have no contact with his officers, can have no contact with the treasurer, can have no contact with anyone who has witnessed any of these incidents. So I don't see, just as a wrestler who has his hands and his feet tied can't work, how could the police chief possibly work? Thank you, and I trust that you'll do the correct thing and make the first step toward restoring accountability to the township. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Cynthia? No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Is it working? Yeah. Now I turned it on.
You're good.
Okay. Cynthia Hicks, Genesee Road. It's a difficult day. It's a difficult day yesterday, difficult day today for all of you. My main concern now is not having a clerk or a deputy clerk in the position. And how can the township be run without a clerk or deputy clerk? I see that it's not on your agenda, and maybe this was done prior to her actually resigning. But now that this has happened, I am hoping that something will be put on the Monday agenda to deal with this, because the township can't go 2 years without a clerk. So I do applaud your diligence. You finished something that started 10 years ago.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name's Jeff Hicks, and from what I've seen as of a town resident, not a town drunk, that these police are incompetent of holding up the law, because it was just here a few days ago, and I'm not gonna bring up the brother's name, but I was under some harsh name calling and things, and said I didn't have my teeth. Well, now I do. And the police need to go. And they're crooked, and I know they're crooked, so I'm saying what I got to say, and that's it.
Thanks. Anyone else? Wait, there's anyone else?
So I guess we'll move on to new business. Administrative leave options for Police Chief Kenny. Chief of Police, now.
Need a motion on that, Kurt?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I make a motion that we put Police Kenny on administrative leave with no pay until the results of the investigation, the trial, and so forth are done.
You need to speak up.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Is your mic on, Stan?
Pardon?
Is your mic on?
Yeah, just repeat yourself, stay a little closer.
Yeah, that's
Sorry about that. I make a motion that we place Police Chief Kenny on administrative leave without pay until this is all went through the court system.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion on that? Shelley?
Permission to ask the attorney a question?
Sure.
I was under the understanding that it was recommended with pay.
That is true, it has been recommended.
You're not the attorney, I guess.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were. Oh.
Well, for what?
Sit down? Yeah.
For what it's worth, that was my recommendation, and is my recommendation still. I think that's the option that's consistent with the presumption of innocence, which the chief and all of us enjoy. So, all I can do is make a recommendation, and ultimately it's up to the board.
If I may, Mr. Supervisor.
We have a motion and a second. Okay, yes, Stan? Okay.
I totally disagree with the attorney, because this is gonna go to trial. It might last 5, 6 years, 7 years.
That's right.
From what I understand, Frank Manley is his attorney, and he's a good man, and he's not gonna make this go through quick. And I think that we should, if he proves innocent, we would pay him back what he has missed. But at this time, I feel that it would be inappropriate to pay him. That's my opinion.
Okay. Eric?
Well, I certainly understand where my colleague is coming from. I, for one, full well know what it's like to be accused of something that you didn't do. And since my tenure here on this board, I've been accused of 2 different crimes in 2 separate instances in which I was not at fault and I did not commit a crime. And just like Chief Kenny, you know, my name and face was plastered in the newspapers and all over the news and gossiped about on social media. And my reputation gets tainted even though I didn't commit a crime. And I feel that we owe Chief Kenny the same respect and dignity that any citizen of this country deserves, and that is that you are innocent until you are proven guilty. And just because charges are brought upon a person does not automatically assume guilt. And the fact of the matter remains that every individual that stands trial or is charged with any type of crime or accusation deserves a defense. That is the bottom line. And that person's reputation, until they are fully found guilty, that person's reputation also needs to be preserved in the best way it can be, with the most respect and the most dignity. Chief Kenny has been our police officer for this township for a many number of years. I think that we owe him a respect and a dignity of that. This board, I believe, has the power to act at any time, if we so choose, duration of the trial or otherwise. If we see fit that he can no longer or should no longer be paid, we can make a decision of that at any time. As far as the decision today, I would like to hear other board member comments as to what they think we should do, but with our attorney giving us advice on the fact that we should give him administrative leave with pay, I just think that's sound advice coming from our attorney. Thank you.
I agree. There's no sense in me going through that same, but I have to agree with Mr. Gunnels on this. You know, we were assuming that he's guilty, so we're not going to pay you. Where that's an assumption I wouldn't want to be, no matter what the charges were.
Rachel?
I disagree. I think it should be on administrative leave with no pay. Sorry, guys. I wouldn't be opposed to back paying him if this comes out as an innocent, an innocent at the end, but as of now, I would put him on administrative leave with no pay.
I don't know how we're gonna
resolve it, because I happen to agree with Eric and John. You're innocent until proven guilty, and at any time in the future, if it goes too long, the board may reconsider their position of the pay. It could, you know, it may be reconsidered at any time in the future if it goes on forever. However, that's how I feel. I agree with Eric and John.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, rebuttal, please.
Yeah, sure. Come on, Sam.
I think that we are kind of at an impasse here, looking just at the numbers of the boards in existence right now. I just have a question for the attorney, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
If this board so choose to convene, do we have the authority to convene at any time in the future during the duration of this trial? And can we convene to have this same or similar or another administrative question put to the vote of the board to remove or to stop or to cease payment at any given time in the future during the duration of this trial, regardless of any outcome or other factors?
Yes, first of all, he has a contract, a written agreement, which provides that any termination would have to follow written notice to him and a vote of 4 members of this board terminating him. That's determining. In terms of administrative leave, whether it's with pay or without pay, that is subject to change at any time by this board.
Shelley?
Can I address the attorney? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, stand it.
Yeah, you've got to read your book on how you handle this. This, you know, it's in excess of $50,000 a year. You know, compassion is one thing, and I'll tell you why. You guys got to realize that you got a bad deal here over a long period of time, and I have no compassion for him for this. You may say he's innocent until proven guilty, and that applies to somebody that murdered your wife or your kid or somebody else too. And this is not that serious, but at the same time, for us to do that, and you know what? Hey, if the time limit is that we can take it off, we can put it back on. If the case is going forward in the sense that you're seeing where he is innocent, we can put that back on. The attorney said that we can take it off or we can put it on. At this point, I say let's take it off. Because otherwise, you give me a point when we do it. Because once we start this, we're going to have these meetings consistently. Yeah, I'm tired of them, so.
Can I ask something?
Yes.
Can we set a time limit on it? Can we say administrative pay, administrative leave was paid for a certain period of time?
You could, I wouldn't recommend it, because those timeframes are purely artificial. Something could happen tomorrow that may prompt you to change your mind. It may be 6 months that prompt your mind. So I think it's better to keep that flexibility open.
Okay, and my opinion on this is I've worked many jobs in my career, and if I didn't go to work, I didn't get paid.
That's right. That's right.
He won't be here. I don't see it paying, and I guess we're ready to take a vote on this. Okay, sure.
And I know this might sound really petty, but Eric just said he was accused of 2 crimes while he sat on the board. We both know the other 2 members were accused of a crime, all innocent, and you were all still paid.
This is the only job I've ever had in my life that I get paid whether I'm here or not. Is everyone else ready for a vote on that?
It's a very challenging argument. I mean, this is not an easy decision. I would agree. Much of me agrees with all of my colleagues' statements today. Given that there is, without going further into an evaluation of Chief Kenny's performance, which we're not doing at all. We're just making a simple decision today on whether or not to put him on administrative leave with or without pay. And then, of course, the motion currently on the floor is without pay. So I think it's a difficult decision, but I think that one last question for Attorney Gilder.
Okay.
If we were to vote yes today to give Chief Kenny administrative leave without pay, would there and could there be, if Chief Kenny is acquitted of any and all charges, or if something was to change in the court, could the township be liable for laying him off or administrative leave without pay? Could we be liable for that without pay? And would he have legal recourse to sue for his back pay above and beyond the actual amount to be owed?
No, I don't see collecting anything beyond what he would be owed as his back pay. Could he? Absolutely. If he's cleared of all charges, could he come back against the township to collect his pay? I'm sure that he would.
Okay, one follow-up question. If we continue to pay him throughout the duration of this trial, and if he is found guilty, do we have any recourse to get back our money?
Come on.
Okay, all right, that's all, thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'm ready to take a vote if you are.
Everyone ready? This would be a yes or no vote, and I'll do a roll call vote on it. Eric?
Yes.
Read the motion again.
The motion was to administrative leave for Chief Kenny without pay. Stan?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
Shelley?
No.
John?
No.
And myself is a yes. So, 4 yeses and 2 noes. Approval of the Thetford Township press release.
You want me to read it first?
Yes. Would you read this, Mr. Gilbert?
Well, by way of background, first of all, I just before coming here today, I prepared a statement that I passed out to all of you. I think all of you have seen it for the very first time. You have one? I spoke yesterday with I think Shelley and Gary. They had indicated the number of people who would come up to them for comment, asking questions, residents, and so on. They asked if there was a statement, a position that they could take. So I prepared this for all of your consideration. I'll read it. This is my attempt to convey a majority of the board's sentiments. This is my words, but I prepared. The Thetford Township Board is committed to honoring 2 different ideals throughout this process. 1, the board knows that Chief Kenny is innocent until proven otherwise. 2, the board understands its duty to protect the health, safety, and welfare of its residents. The board is cooperating with law enforcement concerning Chief Kenny's legal troubles. At this point in time, all the board knows about those troubles is what the media is reporting. It has not seen any investigative materials or spoken with the Sheriff's Department or prosecutor since Chief Kenny's arrest. The board will let the criminal process run its course and will reserve judgment about the charges until the case is complete. In the meantime, the board will not let any drama surrounding Chief Kenny's criminal charges interfere with the police protection services it provides. Those within the police department are dedicated to the people they serve. They, the board, and everyone associated with the township will ensure that the police department continues its mission of protecting and serving township residents.
John?
Yeah, if there's no changes the board would like to add, I'd like to make a motion to adopt
I second.
Discussion on that?
Yes, because this is not factual in regards to myself. Because the troubles is not what the media is reporting. It's what I took into the sheriff's department. So I can't say I can support this document. And as regards to some of it, yeah, great, but you know, I'm deeply involved, and I have talked to the sheriff since his arrest. So I can't say that I can support this part of it.
John?
No, I don't have anything else. For me, this statement reflects my views and as related to this case.
Eric? Any comments?
This press release is good enough for me right now.
Okay. Rachel, you have any problems with the statement? Okay. Shelley? I believe I have to exempt myself from it too. I'm actually not going to speak to the press. I'm directly involved, but I think it's a very good release, and we'll take the vote on this. Eric?
Yes.
Stan?
No, I can't. No.
Rachel?
Yeah.
Shelley? Yes. John?
Yes.
And myself is a no. Press release passes. We will move on to board member comments. Eric?
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today. This is not an easy decision at all for anyone to make. I hope everyone understands the gravity of the decision that we had to make. I want everyone to understand that I have fully well given the chief the benefit of the doubt, and always will, until otherwise. And I am truly a firm believer in that you are innocent until proven guilty. However, otherwise, given the nature of the charges and the amount of time that this trial could take and the amount of money involved in his pay, I felt it necessary to make the decision that I did. Thank you all for coming. Have a good night.
Stan? Thank you, Eric.
Yes, I'm surprised, very surprised. This has been going on for several years. I was aware of it. And previous board members either were not supporting the public in regards to finding out what was going on and how it was going on. And I'm disappointed. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Rachel?
Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. I made my decision a lot based on where I work at, and that's what we do with employees. And if they are proven guilty, we back pay them every penny of it. But at this time, until we know, that's just the decision I thought was right for this township. There's a long road ahead of us. We've lost a lot of great people on this board just since I've been newly elected to this position. It's been a rough road. I'm trying my best to make the best decisions for this township, and I will continue to do what I feel is best. You guys have a good night. Drive safe.
Thank you, Rachel. John?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add other than we need to get these issues resolved and move on. I've been on the board quite a while and appointed to boards back even when Shelley's father was that far back. And we always had some continuity, which we're lacking now, and we need to get back to that for our residents. This is still a great township, and there's a lot of good people here. And we tend to have such a negative outlook, it's really disturbing. And so I'll be looking forward to getting this behind us and moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Shelley?
want to thank you all for coming, and I'd like to ask for some understanding. Very difficult at the township at this time, and it's going to be very hard with Leanne gone. So please have patience with us, have some understanding, and have some compassion. And that's all I ask. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I'd like to thank everyone for everything with the participation through everything, and this is still an ongoing investigation, so there won't be a lot to talk about. So, thank everyone for today. Adjourn.